So after Dr. Donut nerfed Pink Petal and the fungus farms, there were only around 3 farm options left. So 2 of them were actually valid, and one of them was too hard to build. In the last video, I built the bamboo farm. It was actually quite good. So this video, I'm going to be building the bonemeal kelp farm. So the normal kelp farm, I decided it would be probably too slow and wouldn't make that much money. So if you were here to see that, I guess you can click away. But the bone meal one, I think would actually make a good amount because it's bone meal powered, and I have a good feeling about this. Anyway, without further ado, let's begin. So after testing the non-bone meal one, I decided it was actually not valid, and it doesn't make that much. So I'm gonna be building the bone meal powered one. Those are the materials, and because I think you guys are gonna be bored to death because of me building, because most of you skipped that part in the previous video. So I'm just gonna start and speed this up and add some music so you guys don't click off. Anyway, let's start building. Actually, before I start, I would like to mention that this farm was not designed by me. It was designed by another person, and here's their channel. And so I'm gonna actually start building from their tutorial and build it next to the bamboo farm. So yeah. Okay, so apart from building this massive contraption, I also built the hopper system to dispense the bone meal and everything. Wait, let me get an ender pearl. Shop ender pearl. Let me just pearl up, and so basically you drop your bone meal here. It goes to the hoppers. The hoppers go all the way down here into these dispensers, and the dispensers activate with this redstone signal. I also built this later, and like there's a funnel for the not bamboo, kelp, and it gets sent to here, and these are some auto-smelters. And yeah, this is a really simple thing. So the guy just only designed the farm. I think the farm's pretty good, but I added all this stuff. It's basic redstone knowledge, but if you don't know how to do that, just like probably like the idea is just really simple. You have like a sort of like a funnel, and you get this into here, but there's probably some tutorials for this. I haven't found any so far, like especially geared for Donut SMP, but the idea is really simple. You should understand it. If you want, you can just like copy this from the video. It's like this, and same with the other side, and you just have like a water circuit all the way up there. But yeah, this is the part. So if I were to turn this lever on, these things would normally get powered, but because there's no bone meal in here, they won't get powered. But let's just say they were bone meal, it would grow. Let me just show you real quick. Just buy a bone block for demonstration purposes. So some of my bone meal, I'm just gonna chuck it in here, and it circles around and gets fed into these hoppers. Sort of like splits them in between the hoppers, and then this hopper chain brings it all the way down, and now all of them these are growing, and you can see the kelp, when it's finished growing, will be sent up this elevator. And then it'll be fed into, wait, let me turn this on. And there's an issue with like only like those first ones going for some reason, but I think you have to like clog the entire thing with bone meal. So if you have a lot of modules, just fill this entire thing with bone meal. It's really cheap, even if you just order it. But let me just turn this on as well. And it's like, look, it's sort of like splits in between all of these, and then the stuff goes in there. And yeah, and if I have fuel in this, it would like smelt all these into the kelp, and obviously you could turn them into like the dried kelp and stuff. But yeah, this is a simple farm. Okay, so actually the fastest way to smelt something is with a smoker. So I'm gonna build a sort of like a smoker auto smelter thing. So to craft a smoker, we need some logs or just wood, and I think spruce logs are the cheapest right now, so just buy a few of those, and then some furnaces. Oh, that's expensive. At this rate, I'll just order some cobblestone, and then furnace. 24 is fine. And then 25 smokers. That's by far, that's a little too much, but I guess it doesn't really matter. So first I gotta mine this thing. And then we build like a simple, like, sort of like a, it's like a rail system. Oh, I need rails, yeah. Oh, 16 should be enough. And 64 should be enough. By the way, if you want to like build this like from like the official tutorial, I'll link that in the description as well in case you want to do that. So now let's start. So first let's just delete this, and then so in order for this to work, we need like a system like this with a rail here. And if there's a rail here, then if you put a minecart with hopper on it, then it collects stuff from here. Like for example, if I put it there, it gets sucked into here. So if I were to continue doing that, wait, let me get my axe. I were to like extend it in this direction, and then add some rails, and then make this maybe like a powered rail or something, or that is a powered rail actually, and I extend it this way. Then this would like keep on going along this path, and I'll be able to like smelt a great deal of things. So let's just put it here, and then we put the wall sort of things on the side, and of course we need some levers. Let's buy that one. Lever, I think you can put here, and then you can power it, yes, and you could put here and then power it, and then it goes like that, and it basically just keeps dragging this. Obviously wood is not the way to go, because you also, this is the smelting, you also need another side for the fuel, or you can just input the fuel yourself. For me, I'm just going to input the fuel myself. So basically I'm going to replace all of this with hoppers. So buy a stack of hoppers. That's quite expensive, but whatever. But sadly it insta-breaks, so I'm going to redo this part, but I'm going to show you how it works. So you extend it like this. Let me just break this real quick, and then you dig down like, I think like 2 more layers is enough. And then you add hoppers. Like just face them down, because there's gonna be furnaces or smokers actually down here. Let me put the smokers first, I guess. And the furnaces, well, not the smokers, will drag things from these hoppers, which will drag things from that. So it basically evenly splits and divides all the materials that you produce with the farm. Let me just add the rails here, and a rail here, and then the blocks. Just gonna put it like that, and then put it here like that, and then I also need all the blocks in between, obviously. So like that. Okay, now have all of this, and of course I need to power it with the levers. I can put it there, I think, and then power it, yes. And then I can put it here and power it. Now, if I want to put this on here again and push it like that, then it would continue on and get from this and spread it out within these things. So that's really good. And yeah, this is how like separates it. Obviously, if you want to have like another area, like another like transporter or separator of fuel, just like add another one facing into that smoker. But this is good enough because I can like input the fuel myself. And because these are smokers, a single blaze rod can actually smelt a whole ton more, which actually improves profits by actually quite a good amount. So this is even better. And yeah, I guess I'm gonna maybe test this. Actually, no, I'm too lazy. I'm just gonna do the calculations for it. So, anyway, this is the easy auto smelter, and it will smelt tons of stuff. And if you want, you could make like a dropper or something, and into a water stream, and that water stream maybe carry into like a shulker loader or auto crafter into the kelp blocks. You could also add that. It would also be quite effective. But I think personally just doing this and maybe even crafting it myself or just like selling it as kelp. Obviously the block will sell for more, like same with bamboo block. But I personally like this and it works. It actually works quite well. Also, you don't need to do that much smokers if you don't have like, a big farm. Like this is probably good enough for like maybe like 3 modules. Or maybe not, I don't know. But yeah, I would say this is a good amount and it evenly distributes all of these. So yeah, that is the auto sorter and auto smelter, I guess, system for this bone meal kelp farm. Okay, now for the part that you guys probably clicked on this video for, the actual profit calculations. I know this for a fact because look at this chart on this previous video. Everyone just skipped the entire video just to see the profits. How could you guys? Okay, whatever. Apart from that, now it's... Let me just block him. Okay, now it's time for the profit calculations. So I'm going to be doing 3 stacks of bone meal per dispenser, and then sending them here, obviously. I have a document set up for calculating the cost and the profits. I'll show you that later, I guess. So first I gotta take out all the kelp in here. Okay, now all the kelp is out. I'm gonna put that in random chest, and then fill my inventory full of bone meal. So it's 3 stacks. So I'm gonna turn off this clock first. So it's 3 stacks per. I'm doing the calculations based on 3 stacks per, which means 10 stacks of bones. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And that's it. So now that all the bone meal's in there, all I got to do is put the blaze rods into the smokers. Now I'm gonna turn on this and turn on this. Now it will start producing kelp for me. Just gonna look from this angle and see how much kelp it produces and the total profits. I don't know why the kelp is like that. Just hovering there. So I'm gonna pick it up. There's probably issues with picking up stuff, so you might want to like add hopper somewhere here. Apart from that, this tutorial is really good. Okay, everything is finished smelting, and I'm gonna collect all of them and see how much money it makes me. So that's all the dried kelp I got. And now to the Google Doc. Okay, so I did the calculations, and I'm gonna explain it. So 10 stacks of bones is what we used to test. $57 per bone. Do the math, it's 36k to buy the bones with orders. Then blaze rods can smelt 12 items, and it takes 6 blaze rods to smelt a stack of items. If you do the math, I got 26 stacks of kelp, and that means the blaze rods would cost 2,300. Now the profits, if I were to sell all the dried kelp on orders, that's 120k. If I do the blocks on orders, it's 125k. If you do all the profits minus the cost to operate, it would be 120k profit, and that took around, I would say, 20 minutes. So you're looking at around a good 400k an hour for just a single module. So I would say this is an insane farm. So yeah, this farm makes around 120k an hour, and this is just one singular module. Imagine you build a ton of these all against each other. That could easily make you around 3 mil an hour. I don't know why people never did this before, but I think it was just fun. This was just so much better, but this is still a valid option. With this, I would like it more than bamboo. However, this is a little hard to build, and it requires bone meal, which I don't really like using. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching the video. Make sure to like and subscribe. and I wish you to have a great day. Bye.